Yes, in the UK and Japan, you have nearly 100% companies that have, in one way or another, now qualified some kind of disclosure on their environmental and social impact. Or, in the UK, you have the comply or explain rule, or they are saying we're not disclosing this because it's not important for us, or because of X, Y, and Z. And they've also complied, by the way. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're most advanced in terms of meaning. There's a lot of tick box, tick reporting. So there's a lot of advances still needed in meaning, in terms of meaningful reporting. What triggers it? Most of the time, the biggest triggers come from what we call in the jargon some nice thing like a discontinuity. Big shock to the system. When there's a critical incident in an industry sector or in a country, then you suddenly see people rushing and then you get more attention. Or, much stronger than regulators, when investors become interested. And it's about the money. And fortunately, we are starting to see more interest from the investment world now beyond the niche, and it's a good niche, but it's a niche of the socially responsible investment activities. It is the likes of the Goldman Sachs's, of Citigroups, of UBS's, and so that start to become interested. And within this company, these are often still small groups. They are the champions or the pioneers, but yes, they are investing in it. You have also under the flag of the United Nations, the Principles of Responsible Investment. They are signed by some of the largest asset managers, particularly the pension funds, that are committed to that, plus some of the largest asset managers. And they are now together saying, well, we have a bit of a license to operate problem. We need to really look at our impact from several angles. There are critical questions about the decisions that are being taken. If you're asking me, if you push me, as Augusto yesterday said, you really push me, I would say the pension funds. The pension funds are handling your and my money. And it's billions together. If you have somewhere a lever, it is them. And there are big questions. And these are now questions that are being handled and that are coming out more to the open. Also, to some extent, perhaps private capital. I was very interested, and I'm intrigued. Next week, for the first time, I'm speaking to the Private Wealth Council. So a large group of private wealth, private capital owners. Why do they want to talk about this? They do want to talk about this, so we'll talk to them too. But that will be a strong lever. Capital becomes more interesting. It's a no-brainer for companies that they have to become more serious about it.
Ernst, on behalf of the women, I will ask a question. We've been very interested in the whole area of responsible entrepreneurship. So one of the themes with ISEC and elsewhere that we've been doing research and speaking. How do you handle the SME dimension? There are so many of them, and they act so differently. It'd be interesting to know how you integrate that dimension on your indicators.
Okay. I'll start for a moment on the gender question. It's great to see how much attention there is. And also, it was great to see the dissatisfaction of my response to where are you with the gender issue and you're starting to work on it. It's great. I'm dissatisfied too, and that's where we need to be. Gender is not a matter of only for women. It's a matter for us all. And if it was only for women, I have a wife, I have 2 daughters. I want the best for my daughters in the future. And I hope that they don't live in the world that we know so far. Can be a lot better. SMEs. What is obvious is it's important. SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, actually represent a much bigger part of the world economy than the large companies. Large companies often can often lead, they sit at the top of the food chain. SMEs actually determine a lot of the conditions in our daily lives. What we cannot do is address them one by one. We also started with that in the larger company. So we're looking through some of the more functional lines to start to work with SMEs. And we've concentrated quite a bit on it over the last few years. We've particularly done research, and that is action research, work with those in practice on reporting through the supply chain. The example I gave of the tannery far away, how is it linked to Daimler-Benz when it wants nice leather on it in its luxury cars. It's those supply chains go everywhere around the world. And they are a big determinant of our world economy. We work with whether a concentration of the practitioners. A nice example is a group of fruit exporters from Chile. The fruit exporter said it doesn't matter so much, nobody's interested to get a report from Juan and from Pedro and from Maria about how they produce their apples. But what they are interested in is from a whole area, fruit exporters together, who are exporting and selling their produce through Safeways, through Sainsbury's, through Albert Heijn here. And they want to tell their clients that apples from Chile can be tried not just in terms of their taste, not just that they don't rot, but that they also have been produced under safe circumstances with chemicals that are not very different from what is used here, with label conditions that are transparent. And we've been working with them, so how can you come to meaningful reporting as a group of SMEs in this area? So how can you make this get to the market? And these are the kind of experiences we try to share.
Very important. We have one or two questions. What about someone from the International Environmental Forum? Victoria, you have a question?
Diane? Yeah, I understand, I remember in Canada, and we always heard about the legislation in Britain to encourage pension plans to disclose information along the GRI line. Has that made a big impact on the GRI and on other legislation in other countries having to disclose?
I must correct you that Britain didn't say it had to be on the basis of the GRI.
No, but it's similar, like it's,
yeah.
you know, it's,
Yeah. Has it made a big impact? Apparently, to some extent, yes, because, and I need to read the details yet, I've been privy to the headlines of the report that KPMG will come out with next month. In the UK, they identify close to 100% of the listed companies now disclosing some aspect, at least, of results in these areas. Is there a lot of progress to be made? Yes, still, because it is often still very unsatisfactory and incomplete what these companies are reporting. The good leaders accept that there are some excellent examples of companies who have come a long way of reporting and also having the courage to talk openly about the difficult issues. And if I may take George that opportunity, that is often a very difficult decision for companies, because in the end what readers are saying is we want a material issue. That is code for you need to talk to us about what really matters, and that's often where it hurts a bit. And yet it is important and it's beneficial for a company to do that. Most readers do not take any form of sustainability reporting to bed when they have bedtime reading and having a nice cozy read, and neither do they read the whole report from A to Z. What they're looking for when they go there is when they have a question. And that's when they're concerned about something, that something has triggered. Sometimes it's positive. It's also I need to make an investment decision, need a purchasing decision that can be, but they go already with knowledge of the companies and they want their questions answered. And that's the opportunity of a company to explain its